This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mithras. Mithras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.
You're saving the planets. Planet, sorry. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Let me just... Can one of you talk, please? Just chatter.
I guess so.
Chatter.
Right, let me just move you around. Mr. Pickles is in the right place, but
I'm just serving some cheddar cheese.
Oh my lord.
but Banner and Misty are not. But
Actually, I'm playing Banner tonight.
Oh, of course.
As fast as a speeding bullet. Right, there you go. There you go. We had some sound issues in the last session at the beginning. I don't know if you saw the video. It's really echoey at the beginning. It's awful. I do press a button eventually and stop it, but I'm not too sure whether or not it's working or not. So I'm just opening up the stream on my laptop to have a listen in when you're introducing yourselves. Yeah, hello everyone. Hello, welcome back. We will be playing some Destined tonight, which is a superhero role-playing game based on the Mithras rule set, so very much like Mithras, with hit locations, etc., etc. But really, it's set in Metro City, as you can see from the landing page, and we have three fearless heroes righting wrong across the streets of Metro City. So before we go any further, I'm going to let them introduce who they are playing, who they are and who they are playing tonight. And we start, as of always, with the speedy Mr. Pickles.
I am Mr. Pickles, and I am not so speedy, actually, but Rabbit, the character I play, is very, very speedy. That's her entire thing, is that she is a speedster. She can do everything pretty well fast. She can move fast, react fast, attack fast, and even heal fast, because she broke her arm last game, and I'm pretty sure it's already put itself back together as we're waiting for cops to arrive. Yeah, she's not very heavy on damage or anything. She has an extendable quarterstaff to leverage herself a bit better, but she's the group's crowd control, I like to think. When we're hit with a swarm of a lot of problems, that's where she shines. She's able to deal with a lot of things all at once, and usually right away at the beginning of encounters. She also has some knowledge of the streets and a little bit of sleight of hand, but mostly she just goes fast. She's a physical, fast character who likes to eat and go fast. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone on over to the one who does a little bit more damage than me, Captain Kangaroo, and his character. Both.
Hey everyone, I'm Captain Kangaroo. Tonight I'm playing Banner. He's the muscle of the group, but he's also there. He's like the fearless motivator for the group too. You know, he's there to really stop the communist agenda in its tracks. You know, if you're still in a Twix out of a 7-Eleven, you're a commie, and he's gonna find you. If you're jaywalking across the street so that way you don't miss the movie, you're a commie, and he's gonna find you. If you're
enough of that, please.
But really, besides that, he's also just, you know, in general, there to kick ass,
a nice
and
guy,
forget people and forget people's names because he's not very intelligent.
From
there, I'm going to pass the mic to our friend Medevac.
Why, thank you, my communist friend. Hi all, I'm Medevac and I play Misty, Sophia Sampson. She is the money, I suppose, of the group. She has her own law firm. She's early 20s to mid 20s. We don't like to say her age. She's a controller of moisture, although she doesn't like the word moist. Yeah, she can control water basically, so she can make constructs out of water. She can do shields out of water. She can make mist to hide in. She can also fly using the power of water. She basically used jets of water to propel herself through the air. Yeah, she lives just on the outskirts of the city. She does have a little office in the centre, but she likes to just mainly stay at home and do work for criminal law.
Nice.
She's lost both her parents, who were assassinated and driven off the road into a lake. She survived. Don't know how. Maybe she didn't. You know.
Well, sorry, Medivac. If I need any information about your backstory, I'm just going to ask Mr. Pickles.
I know.
Because I think he knows it better.
He does. He does. Oh. So anyway, back to Hazra. And, yes, and that's pretty much it. She can shoot water from her hands to hit her enemies. She can control how it hits them. Like a thick jet of water will stun them, a thin will pierce the armor. So she's very, very controlled that way. And she can also create a little simulacrum, which or a water elemental that will fight her battles as well. And with that, I shall pass on to our inglorious GM.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, the party last week actually spent their experience rolls, and they gained more power, new boost to their power, new skills, etc. And they have now started to work on a new adventure. The adventure is called Relic Hunters, and this is part 2. And last adventure, the group got a cop alert. Citizens, what does it stand for? Citizens
On patrol?
on patrol. Yeah, I was trying to think protect, but yeah, citizens on patrol. And what happens is that the cop system allows anybody to send in alerts to help the local police. And there was a cop alert about a museum. And when the party actually got there, they found that there were some strange people looting the Egyptians area of the museum. They proceeded to leave via some kind of mystical portal, while leaving behind a number of imps who attacked the party. It was close at one point, especially after Rabbit ran subsonic speed into a force field. But apart from that, everything went well. Rabbit made a new contact called Ethan, I think his name is, and who is a curator of Egyptian relics. And they found out that the only thing that was missing was a shard of what appears to be a tablet. And did Ethan tell you what he thought was written on that tablet?
I don't think so.
Right, okay, then that's good to know. That's good to know. Can I say thank you to everybody who's saying happy affiliate anniversary in Wills. It is my affiliate anniversary at the moment. I first got it in 1972, I think it was, so long ago. And I'm still hanging on in here. But thank you, and thank you, Maglo, for the raid coming in. Okay, so before we go any further, I would like to talk about money. Okay, because at the beginning of the last adventure, you talked about infrared goggles and night vision goggles, etc. So I thought it would be a good time to check about allotments. Okay, now, as far as I'm concerned, Banner and Rabbit, you are working class. And Misty, you are professional class. Have I got that right?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Probably worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. So you should have somewhere on your character sheet a skill called allotments. Okay, and it should be a percentage. I would have thought Misty's is quite good.
Apparently, it's 40% plus 10%.
Yeah. That sounds about right, because your professional skill professional social class gives you 10% from the actual level of the game. So we're playing the epic level, which is 40%. Rabbit, yours is?
Mine looks like a 20.
Okay. And Banner, yours is?
I didn't put that in.
Right. Okay, then. So let's just check.
Well, to be fair, I didn't have mine either. I've just mine written down in my notebook. Just I know.
Okay.
So where does it go on the character sheet? Is it money and wealth?
It can go on there. What it is, it will be a percentage roll, but it's not.
So if I just add it into standard skills,
Well,
professional skills,
there's no attributes to it.
right?
So you can just put it in your money if you wish, or you can just you can put it anywhere you want. So basically what happens is that you have an allotment rating. It's a percentage score, and 1/10 of that is what you have available for any adventure. So rather than going out and buying something, what you do is that you use allotment points for it. Generally, these are done at the beginning of an adventure. And then there could be various times throughout that you could actually swap out your equipment and buy something else, or, say, for example, you damage something, you can reassign your allotment points. Now, you can increase your allotment rating just like a normal skill. So you can put skill rolls in it and increase it. So everything in the book doesn't have money assigned to it. What it has is a level of rarity. So anything that is common, you can buy that with 1 allotment point, okay, from your personal allotment. If it's uncommon, then it takes 2 of your allotment points to purchase. And anything that you have is purchased via your allotments. So, for example, if you want polyweave armor, that is done by your allotments. Okay. Now, the other good thing about it is that you have your own personal allotment skill, but you can also join organizations or have benefactors. So, for example, if you signed up to work with Jack Stone and his corporation, you might have your personal allotments, but therefore you might have the Jack Stone allotments, who might have a rating of 60%. So you could actually buy 6 points of stuff by his funding. Obviously, if you worked with Jack Stone on one adventure, but not the next adventure, then those points are not actually available. You can, of course, join organizations, and they can provide allotment points as well. So essentially, it starts off according to the campaign level. And let me just find that. You all sound roughly correct, I think, but let me just check it.
Yeah, I couldn't find how to calculate allotments, so I don't know where I got that 20.
Okay, so the actual campaign is 40%. That is the level of the campaign. But then what happens is that it is altered by your social class. So if I look at social classes, now, Sophia, Misty is professional.
Mhm.
So you get plus 10% to your allotments at the start. So it would be 40 so you'll have 50%. Okay. You also have one of more luxurious dwellings, new high-end vehicle, many expensive personal possessions. So as well as having those allotments, you also have other things as well. Now, working class people Banner and Rabbit, you have a limit on yours. So your allotments will start at 30%. That's via working class. So no more than 30% to personal allotments to start with. So Banner and Rabbit, you both have 30%, which means that you have 3 allotment points. And Misty, you'll have 5 allotment points. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then. So what you need to start looking at is, what are you going to buy? Okay, what do you want to actually buy? So in the equipment list, you will find everything there, but it won't have a cost by it. It'll say either common, uncommon, etc., etc. So it actually goes up. There's a variety of options, but it goes from it goes common, uncommon, restricted, highly restricted. So you cannot normally get anything above uncommon, okay, unless you go via black market, as Misty frowns on everybody at this point. So you can go via black market if you wish to try to get restricted items. However, you will require a formidable deceit or influence check, or a hard streetwise check. So people with streetwise as a skill, you can use that to purchase restricted items. Okay, and then the restricted items from the personal one is another, is 2 more points. Okay, 2 more points. So the common is 1, the uncommon is 2, and then the restricted would be 3. Okay, and you would use up those 3 points. So if Rabbit went and bought something that was restricted via Street Rose, then you would just have that one thing, because it would cost you 3 allotment points. So there's no basic cost. There's just these different levels. Now, some of you, we might have to do some jiggling around as we go. So the first thing to check, if you have got something that's built in, so Misty, you do not need to pay allotment points for your water skills because they're in. Rabbit has a collapsible staff. Okay, that's right, isn't it?
It is right.
So you will need to buy that staff with allotment points. And Banner has his shield that I think, if I'm right, you can be disarmed from it. Is that correct? I think you had the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that too needs to be bought. Armor, if you're wearing armor, that needs to be bought. Transportation needs to be bought. Misty, you automatically get a high-end car, but it's not probably the car that you would use if you were going...
No, it's my limo, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. You know, so if you wanted to get, something different, like a Land Rover to go cross country or something like that, then that would be something that you would buy from your allotment points. Okay, so does that make... Yeah, go for it.
Buy a base.
A base?
Yeah, base. I'd like to buy a small base for 2 points, and then I want to get base security and some amenities.
Yeah, so
like a teleporter.
Yeah, you can have you can have 3. So it is eventually. Notice what I'm saying. That then yes, you will be able to create your own base and put security systems in and everything like that. But that will depend on when you, how you want to work together as a team. You might think to break up after a couple of adventures, etc., etc. So there's a lot of thinking to do. So the first thing that you need to do is look at your character sheets and think, okay, then what do I need to bring with me? What am I actually going to have as my allotments?
Just out of interest,
Yeah.
do the allotments, so we've got 5 points. of
You have
allotments.
5, yeah.
Yes. Do they refresh, or once I've spent them, they've gone?
So what happens is that it's normally done per adventure.
Yeah.
So you will use them for that adventure, and then the next adventure you can reassign them. Obviously, somebody like Rabbit might assign allotment points to a staff and always just get the staff, if that makes sense, because she doesn't want to lose her staff at any one
Oh, right.
point.
So once you've got it, you've got to keep on paying each adventure to keep it.
Yes.
Right.
It's always there as an allotment. Oh, yes, I see what you mean now. Yeah, it's not, oh, you pay it to start off with and then never, and it
Yeah,
refreshes.
it's yours. Yeah.
Yeah. So things like polyweave armor
Mhm.
is common. So that will cost you 1 allotment point. If you wanted heavy combat armor, that is restricted. Okay, so that would have to come via the black market, or a future organization might actually provide it for you. So
But we'd have to buy that each adventure.
yes. So what would happen, say, for example, you're going into somewhere really heavy combat, the actual organization might say to you, okay, then we will use our allotment points that'll be a lot higher to finance you. Okay, so you won't use your personal allotments to get the heavy combat armor, they will. And then that's it. So if you're in your books or in your PDFs, the armor starts on 128. Now, I was just think I need to check what you were asking, Medivac, but I will check it. I'm sure.
It just seemed very strange that when you buy something, it's not really buying, it's renting, isn't it, by the sounds of it?
Yeah.
We're renting to buy every day.
Yeah.
Okay, then
armor. If you got armor and you're repairing your tools, if you have tools, like if you have a lockpicking kit, right? You would break things eventually, and you need to be replacing it between adventures. So I think a lot of this is the maintenance of having this on hand at good quality.
Yes, and that's
Good explanation.
That's exactly what it says. While destruction or loss of gear during adventure has its own complications, it can also affect the hero's available resources for the next day. This is represented by temporary reduction in allotment slots available from the pool where the lost gear has been purchased. So if you lose something, you lose those allotment points. But I will check on it, but let's just pretend at this point we've got our full amount. So the armor is on page 128. So I think Rabbit has polyweave, is that right?
Correct. And I wanted to spring for the full, because if you look at the picture, she has like the mask on and everything. So I wanted to do full polyweave armor for 1 point.
Yeah.
I've got a question about my quarterstaff, unless you want to focus on armor for a second.
No, ask away.
So it's an extendable quarterstaff because that's what the hair had. And so I'm looking at this, the next page is weapons, and it says staff common 1, so that would cost 1. But does being extendable increase the price?
So because it's common, okay, for you, your personal allotment, that's +1 onto it. So the cost that it gives there is for like the normal level. So an organization would just pay 1 for it. But I think
for the staff.
Yeah.
But what about an extendable staff? Because that's like a little bit more different, right?
Yeah, but I'm not. I think what we'll do is, for the time being, just think, oh, it's common. We'll just say it's one of your heroic things that you have. rather than, because what the other thing that I'm worried about, if if I say it's three allotment points, then you're not. Do you know what I mean? You're not. That'll be your staff, and then that's it.
And then you'd be naked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could still have partial polyweave armor because that's technically free. It looked like it's getting all of it that costs a point.
Oh, really?
So I could have partial polyweave, but I figured my third item was my stash of food, since Rabbit's always eating food.
Yeah.
And going out and grabbing food.
Exactly. So that would be something that is a constant intake or using up of allotment points. There is petty cash, by the way. So you can use your allotment points to gain petty cash that you can then use to bribe people, etc.
Or to pay for parking.
Yeah. well, yeah. So polyweave, if polyweave covers 3 or fewer locations, there is no allotment cost for it. So it's only if it covers everything
Everywhere. Yeah.
then it actually. Now it's interesting because I think I get confused now why it has a cost on there, on the cost thing, and a restriction level. So, for example, the staff says 1, but the restriction level is common. So that
Doesn't the restriction level like multiply it? Isn't that like
that's what I was thinking.
Additional?
Maybe like, for example, if it's uncommon, then it's 1 times 2, because uncommon would be 2. So then the answer would be 2.
Well, from what I read, and I'm, me, I'm quite happy to go backwards and forwards it. So it says the personal. I'm just reading it from page 125. When a hero uses their personal allotment slots to obtain gear, they pay the listed cost for any common items. Uncommon items cost 1 point higher than the listed amount. So when something says 2, what was it that said 2? What was that? The sword. Sword. So you would pay, and what is it? It's
uncommon.
It's uncommon. So if you're using your personal allotments, that would be 3 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a long sword.
Yeah. Now there's some. I was sort of like going through some of the things, and I think the long sword is like that mainly because it's a 2-handed sword to start off with. It can be used 2-handed, but the damage is like 1d10, so it's huge. It can be a huge amount. If you're buying guns, then you need to use points for ammunition as well. And so I think their shields are on page. Are your shields on the same? Yeah, your shields are on 130. So each of your shields are uncommon. So it'll be 1, the normal cost, which is 1, plus another 1 because they'll be uncommon. Armor's there if you have inherent armor that is in your body. Unless you said it's an exosuit or something like that. So the other thing that I was thinking about, and I'm just scrolling through, is, of course, so if you want a machine gun, that is restricted. So you can't go out and buy it. There are things like homing. If you have a homing missile or something, then that's restricted, but it increases the cost. For example, night vision Night vision is common, but it's 2 points. Okay, so you would need to pay 2 of your allotment points to gain that. If you want, that would be night vision goggles. Then I think there is a version. Now, the other thing that can happen, of course, handcuffs. If you want handcuffs, they're common. So it'll be just a normal 1 point for 5 sets. You get 5 sets of handcuffs, you know, if you actually want that. There are some vehicles as well. So if you want to buy vehicles that you drive as whoever, then there's various vehicle costs, and that will actually have an allotment point as well. I've been thinking about everything about this and how we're going to play it. And I think one of the things that I want to say right at the beginning is that I think how we'll play the Honda Civic is that it's part of the pizza business. And so it's something that comes with the pizza delivery place, rather than it's Banner's own. And I think Banner now, because he has in a single bound, he can leap one place to another. So yeah, I will look up, unless somebody else looks up and gets it before me, what happens. You know, do you have to, once you've bought the armor, do you keep the armor, or do you have to reassign points? So you should be able to now sort of like start to think, what am I taking? Misty, the
Well,
rich.
I've got to buy 3 communicators, aren't I?
Well, so Misty, you are the rich person, aren't you? You're going to be. So you can, if you wish, buy things for other people. At the current point of time, I don't want to suddenly think we don't have communicators. So I'm going to take that we still have those, and then we'll look at the allotment system and see whether or not. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I've just bought 3 anyway. So
oh, that's nice. Banner.
So I've got polyweave armor and communicators.
And Banner, if you break the communicator, you're paying for it.
That's like a year's worth of salary for me.
Yeah, I just imagine that. I just want you to have it in your hand when you fail a roll. It's such a brilliant.
What does left mean?
I'm hoping it's more of an earpiece, so we can't break it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. So yeah, so
unless he goes, oh, I got something in my ear.
Yeah, goes.
They're stuck in there. It's like, well, now he can't break it though. It's stuck in there.
So while you're
part of the waxworks.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
While you're thinking about that and sort of like thinking what you're going to do, let me give you the latest update from Network 7. So this is the latest update from Network 7. So people watching the stream, we always start the adventure with an update from Network 7, which is the local news social media channel. And of course, the players have had their characters mentioned in this before. It also allows me to start weaving future plot lines in as well, if the players are taking notes. Okay, so we're joining Network 7 at the end of the broadcast. And finally, for tonight, 2 rather dull stories. It's definitely been a no news day here in Metro. Apparently, there was a break-in the Metro Museum last night. I know, can't imagine that there was anything in there worth stealing. Well, I suppose if they had any gold jewelry from some hideous tomb somewhere, then possibly there might have been. However, nothing was taken, and the police would like to thank the anonymous caller who alerted them to the break-in. Lucky for the museum, nothing was stolen, so life will go back to normal for them. Boring, but normal. And finally, a cute puppy story. Last night, a puppy was found up a tree. Nobody knows how it got there, but the local neighborhood got together and managed to get it down through the clever use of 2 chairs, a belt, and a revolver. The vet said the puppy will make a full recovery eventually. The weather will be warm and humid for the next 2 days as the storm lingers slightly off to the south. So don't worry if your date seems overly sweaty. It is not a personal problem. It's just the weather. More news as it comes here on Network 7. And the broadcast ends. Now, any questions before we dive in?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
You ready? I was wondering what like kind of puppy it was. Was it like a big puppy? Was it a small puppy?
No, it was a Doberman Pinscher.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Do you know Professor Chuckles? He's a streamer. He has a dog. He has a little puppy called Fractal. he's a maths professor, and I just thought it was Fractal. Fantastic. So if you remember, you managed to get onto the scene of crime, and you were talking to Ethan about what had been stolen, etc. What information had you had? Check your notes. What was it that you knew about that?
It was a death shard, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the only thing that was taken.
Mm.
It's not very valuable compared to other things. Not many people know what it, or nobody knows what it's for. I believe he called it an unknown death shard.
That's right. Yeah.
I call him only by his first name because I refuse to use his last name. That's not really relevant to the story, but that's all my notes say.
Okay, so let's pick up from there then. So yes, the Ethan explains to you that it's part of a bigger tablet that he is aware of, and he is going to look into more background for you, Rabbit, and to get back to you at appropriate time. So I'm assuming that Ethan has your contact details. I added to his skill set primitive Egyptian fighting techniques, so he's well up on he's not a combat person, but he knows the ins and outs, a bit like he knows the moves in chess without being a chess player. However, he, just as you're turning to leave, all of you, he suddenly remembers something that was on the shard, and the shard had glyphs on them. And this is very important. He does not call them hieroglyphics. He calls them glyphs. And he had been working on trying to understand these glyphs. And he had got to a conclusion that he wasn't 100% about. But he thought the glyphs meant something like safe passage to. He's not aware of, he hasn't translated where to or where from, but he thinks it says safe passage to. Now, obviously, there's other glyphs, other shards, that will make up the whole tablet. So he is going to go off and have a look and see what research he can actually bring up. He's especially interested about where the relic came from, who provided it for the museum, and, you know, if there are other pieces, then where are those pieces? Rabbit, is there anything you would like to say or do with your contact at the moment?
I am remembering. I believe you did actually say that, and you described it as like the shape of a piece of pizza, but the first bite's been taken out.
Yeah.
So there's something that's in the middle that's circular, probably, that it would connect to.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, Rabbit would ask him,
or
okay,
something
if
went
that's what
through that hole. It could be, for example, it could be on a pole or a shaft or an axle or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, Rabbit would nod quite a bit repeatedly, really fast, and then say to him, okay, Ethan, is there anything that I should be doing? Anything I should be looking into? How can I help you with your museum type
He sort of
research
like,
stuff?
he looks at you as if to somewhat puzzled, because he knows what kind of person Rabbit is, and he knows that library books and research is probably not Rabbit's strong point. But roll an insight roll for me.
Is a roll. I'm very insightful.
Super.
Oh, actually, I got a success there.
Yeah, you did. You definitely feel that he's trying to be nice and not hurt your feelings, and he says things like, "Oh, Rabbit, you're more out there on the streets. I'm more of a book person. You know, let's stick to what we're good at here. I'll get back to the books and the computer. You know, do whatever you do on the streets."
Okay, well, yeah, I think I get what you mean. Go to Sophia's house and have a good time there. I'll go see my best friend.
Yeah. And as Misty and Banner, you're still at the museum. Is there anything that you would like to do before you leave?
Um,
I'll just move
No.
you back to the museum so you can remember what it looked like.
You guys should be soaking in all of the knowledge. You didn't even have to pay for a ticket.
you lost me at knowledge. Um,
That's where you were.
Well, Sophia probably wouldn't. She'd probably be examining the floor where the portal was to have a look, see if there's any sort of residual
Yeah.
things left behind. But that's pretty much it, because nothing else has been taken, has it?
Banner
No.
probably be going back and forth between where the portal was, just like they were here and they weren't. They were here, but then they weren't.
They definitely went.
Yeah.
Just for me, roll a perception check, Misty. Yeah, there's
Very perceptive.
there's actually nothing of the portal remains at all. Even though, you know, somebody might have mentioned it and forensics have gone over it, there's still nothing there. It's quite, you probably think it didn't actually make contact with anything, perhaps more of a portal in the air, you know, that they stepped through just before Rabbit ran into the force field. But yeah, and there's it's quite unnerving because there is no actual evidence at all. The only evidence that is there is that the glass case was smashed
And
open.
the fact that we saw it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's quite frightening, because that means if somebody has control of something like that, whether it be equipment or a power, they could go anywhere.
You roll an insight, Misty. Oh,
We're doing pretty good.
I know things about portals.
So just for people watching, if you ever see a star, it means it's a critical success. So as a GM, I will give more information out. It was definitely not technological. It was definitely magic of some description. And the other thing is, and I would normally not give this, it's only because it's a critical. When you first got to the area, Misty, you definitely felt a presence of darkness, a presence of evil, almost like the just hanging there, the residue of it before it completely disappeared. You think it was some kind of magic, and it's probably was not a good type of magic.
So it's like when you step into the area, so the temperature drops like a couple of degrees.
Yeah. And, you know, you even empathically, when you get when you first got close to it, it's dissipated now. But when you first got close to it, you had this feeling of dread, feeling of worry, panic, that seemed to be emanating just from the basic area. You do think maybe it's connected to the coven,
Yeah.
but maybe not. You don't have any
No,
evidence
to be
for
fair, I
that.
think last week I said I probably thought it was because of who was
Yeah,
getting in and out.
correct.
Okay.
I'll repeat all that to the group, but before I do, I'll go, I think, and then repeat it.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So we're
Yeah.
saying that a whole bunch of witches came in here and stole things. I never heard of communist witches, but now I feel it's time to do some clobbering, everyone.
Well, I mean,
Go
that's
find
what
some
they
old
do. They live in a group.
green-skinned witches.
They're all in a commune together, a coven commune. This is exactly your kind of thing, Banner.
You'll love it, Banner. Yeah, it's some kind of
He obviously only
socialist group.
understands. Yes,
They take care of each
here's
other, probably.
coven, and he doesn't know what coven means, so he just imagines witches because that's the only time he's ever heard that word before. So he's looking for witches now.
On the plus side, all you need is a bucket of water to get rid of them.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm melting.
Hopefully, there's no flying monkeys we have to find later.
As you head off back to Misty or Sophia's apartment via, your cop alert goes off, and it just doesn't go off once. It goes off several times, and there's several things coming in. So this almost like suggests the urgency of what's happening. And it appears that there's been a crash on the Venetian Bridge, which is the main bridge that covers the Lancaster Flow from sort of like downtown metro to the business area. There seems to be people are talking about a crash on the bridge. People are in danger, and you actually see a live footage of a car that is balanced precariously, half on the bridge and half off the bridge. It definitely looks like it's something that requires the touch of heroes.
Does the cop alert say anything about danger? Like armed people with guns are shooting at
No,
this,
it just says that it was a road accident / crash. So people are saying there was an accident. People are saying it's a crash. There's no mention of anybody with guns or anything like that. You don't know how it's caused, but you're getting daily updates, including somebody who I have to say is quite callous, that has set up a sweepstake. Whether or not the car will tip into the Lancaster Flow, which is the name of the river, or stay on the bridge. And there's frantic betting going on across social media at the moment about it. Do you wish to attend?
Yeah.
We can easily, yes, because we want to win that bet.
Yeah, do you?
Put all my money on the bet of saving it.
All my allotment points onto saving it.
You think so? Are you sure you do have Banner on your side? Right, I'm going to put you on the map. I'm going to put you at the as you fly or jump in. I'm going to put you at the edge of the bridge, on the rocks part, on the land part, but it's up to you where you land or leap to. Do please remember you are on a bridge. Okay. And I was quite pleased with this map, I have to say. Can you see yourselves? You're right down at the bottom. Yeah. And if you scroll up, there's a car that's on fire. Can you see the car that's on fire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. And the taxi is the car that is tottering on the edge. Okay. You can also see that the traffic on the right side of the lane, that has stopped. That is not moving. And any of the cars that are on the bridge are stationary as well. There's a lot of people out of their cars. They're looking around the place. They're taking videos. There's some great interest in the burning car. And as you get to the bridge, and we'll decide where you're going to land, a new cop alert comes up saying that from the back of the taxi, okay, so from through this window, yeah, can you see that?
Yeah.
There seems to be a mother and a child begging for help. Somebody's filming it, so it's coming straight through to your cop alert. But there's also seems to be somebody in the front of the car as well, but they seem to be stationary. You don't know whether or not they're, from the pictures, they're unconscious, asleep, or just waiting to tip over. This car keeps going like this. It definitely looks like it's going to change. So, Rabbit, you will always act first. I would have thought with your go fastness. So, yeah, where would you like to go, stop, and then we'll see where everybody else would like to be.
Before I answer that, I had a question of whether or not time had passed since we beat up the Banekin imps.
You will be because that's we had the forensic bit, we had the cops coming in, so you're fine, don't worry. Just don't run into any force fields.
Well, there's no way to know until I smash head first into it and break my arm. Oh, that's a tough one. I would probably rush up to well, I mean, if I take anybody out, it could just tip over and kill everybody else in it.
Just sit on the bonnet. Sit on the boot, hold it down.
Yeah, no, actually, that's what she would do. Is she's going to grab, as if she's Banner, but clearly not. She's going to try and stabilize it as much as she can.
Okay. So you can move your your token up to the back end of the taxi. Banner or Misty, either of you can go next. Misty, I presume you're flying in, yeah?
Indeed, yeah. I mean, my target's going to be the burning car, and I will just pour water on the burning car.
Okay, so do you want to put your token near to where you want to be compared to the burning vehicle? I think...
bearing in mind that I am up in the air.
Yeah, I always assume you're... What did you say last time? Something like 20 feet or 30 feet up?
Yeah.
The actual grid is correct. So you can measure out your distance from it, but we'll say between 20 and 30 feet in the air. Banner, where are you going?
Banner's going to have the brilliant idea of following Rabbit, and by follow Rabbit, that doesn't mean jumping and then landing right next to the car. Obviously, it means just kind of running up there slowly because yeah. You know how it looks like when bodybuilders run, everything just kind of like it looks weird, but it's fine.
Being a bodybuilder myself, I am. Yeah.
So he's gonna run across, and he's gonna try to see if he can help out Rabbit.
Okay then. So as Banner heads towards you, Rabbit, you're there first, Rabbit. So I would like you, please, to make a brawn roll for me.
My strong suit. I would like to use a point of luck. My
Okay.
first point of luck to reverse that to a 14.
Okay, so as you get there, the people inside the car see you, and in their excitement, they almost like move somewhat, and it causes the car to tip. However, you manage with literally every ounce of your strength, including trying to almost like sit on it, push it down. You are successful, but you have just given yourself 1 level of fatigue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In the effort to push it down.
Oh yeah. I'm probably like if it starts to go up too much, like I'm probably like digging my heels into the pavement, just trying everything possible to
Yeah.
make it stay.
So you saved it, and with that banner, you will arrive next to Rabbit. And as you're moving up there, you notice that Misty's high up. Yes, Misty, what would you like to do? Before you do anything, roll an insight check for me. You do notice as you fly over that there appears to be some kind of fuel leaking out of this car that is actually burning a light. So it seems to be petrol that's on fire. You do know that if you spurt your water in
It'll
there,
spread it everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Just make for me, please. Sorry, there's one more. Just make for me, please, a hard perception check.
Oh. No.
Okay, there's a lot
yeah.
of fire. There's a lot of smoke. You are not sure whether or not there's anybody inside.
Well,
or
what I'm
not.
going to do in that case is I'm going to create a mist around it. So it won't be direct water. It'll be like a fog,
A sprinkling of fairy dust.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So
in the hope that that'll dampen the fire, but not create the so it'll smother it rather than
Got you. So your powers are based on an attribute, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay. So what attribute are they based on?
This one is, where's my spell thing? I keep thinking of that. It's magic. Creation is willpower.
Willpower. So you're going to make a willpower roll to see whether or not you are successful in starting to dampen the flames. Just to let you know, this will be an opposed roll against the fire. Okay. Right. So remember, you need to succeed, but you also need to beat my roll. Yeah. Okay. So if you roll your
well, it's a critical, I suppose.
So that's a critical. So as long as I don't get, well, I would have to get a critical that was 10.
10.
Yeah, to beat it. But I'm not going to do that. No. Okay, so you are successful, and you manage as the mist falls, it tends to put out the fire furthest away from the engine. And as it dampens down, you notice 2 things. The first thing is that there seems to be a quite badly charred body in the front. Okay, that you presume was a driver, but there seems to be a body in the back. Okay, they seem to be lying across the back seat. They don't seem to be moving, but just as your mist descends and let me put your mist descending, because we can do this. Watch.
Ooh. Fancy.
As your mist descends, you know this, and at that point, Banner arrives next to you, Rabbit. Banner, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to balance it hopefully a little easier than Rabbit. and
Okay,
try to see if I can maybe pull the vehicle a little closer to our end.
Okay.
But as I do that, I'll also tell Rabbit to see if she can save the people inside.
Okay. So you have an option. Okay.
Mhm.
You can either pull as the car is at the moment, which is slightly tipping. Rabbit is holding it down, or okay, so pulling it from this angle would be a harder roll, or you can spend a first action pushing the car right the way down so it's horizontal again, and then on your next action pull it back. So you can either pull it back when it's at an angle, but that will make the roll harder, more difficult, or you can push it down on your first and then try to pull it back. What would you like to do?
I'll do option number 2. I'll push it down,
Okay.
try to gain a little bit of balance, and then pull it slowly.
So roll your brawn roll.
All right. Yeah.
Would having my brawn augment his, or am I that like, because I know he's super strength, so it's I don't even know if
So
my
you're
strength would help.
I imagine you're sort of like holding on to grim death for it, and Bannisters gets there. You sort of like see him as he which brawn are we taking?
Well, if I did the second brawn, I'll just reverse it, but it depends on how you're gonna do it. My clicker's doubling it for some reason.
Yeah, I am more than happy for you to do it however you wish. So you can take the second one if you wish, and
second one and use my point of luck.
A point of luck to swap it round. So just to let you know, my roll was a 32. You can see it above. So that's the vehicle's roll. So you managed to beat it with a 49 and push it down. Rabbit Banner also says to you, go for it, Banner. What are you saying to her?
Oh, get him out. I have it.
Okay.
It's gonna make it much harder if I'm trying to get them out.
Rabbit, what would
it's
you?
Going to unbalance it. I'm gonna keep like holding. I'm not going to jump in there and get one person out and then have Banner flip into the ocean.
Okay. So you're still there holding, and we're going to try to pull it back. Misty, we're back to you.
Sorry, I was muted.
I was going to say you're either very quiet.
So I'm seeing this body on the back seat. I'm going to keep my mist, the thick fog on it, on the vehicle, so it cools it down. I'm going to go lower. And is the fire completely out, or is the engine still going?
No, the back end. Is your mist a concentration? Do you need concentration to keep it going or not?
Well, it's a creative thing, so yes, it will be.
Yeah. So what's it's done? It seems to have dampened the fire that was in. Imagine that the flames were licking through from the front to the back, from the petrol. So what you've done is that misty environment is stopping that fire going back into the car. The engine's still on fire. And the petrol, but I mean, your mist might continue to put it out, but there's no fire in the back seat at the moment.
Right. I'm going to keep concentrating on the mist. I'm going to go down and open the back door and try to get this person out. I'll examine them before I move them.
Yeah. Okay. So just move yourself up. When do you have a first aid skill?
I do.
It should just be a standard skill. I would have thought.
It is standard. Yeah.
So just roll your first aid skill.
Yeah.
He looks fine. He seriously looks fine. So, you can open the door. You probably cast almost like just make a bit of water come out your hand.
Oh yeah,
just to
my hand. Yeah.
Or you can try to open the door or pull him through the window. It's up to you.
Well, to be fair, I am wearing gloves, so would polyweave armor be fine for heat?
One way to find out.
There is.
So
the
really quick,
say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead really quick. I have something on the brawn thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, on enhanced strength, like I can lift without doing a brawn check. I can lift 2,000 kilograms.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is that
How many kilograms is a taxi?
like
About 1,500.
yeah.
How many kilograms is that child?
About 1,500.
So
Yeah, that's what I
It's,
thought.
it's America.
Is it a fat kid? Is it a fat child?
He is an American.
Just get candy bars and ice cream and stands like,
so just out of interest, the brawn check is nothing to do with the car necessarily.
oh,
It's to do with the tipping.
the balancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the two.
We all believe in your deadlifting.
Yeah.
We believe you there.
You can, if you wish.
Gains, man.
If you wish, Bella, you could change your grip and try to lift the car up.
Flip it.
I'm just looking.
Just Hulk smash the back.
Anyway, sorry, Misty. No. Misty, let's stay with you. So what would you like to do?
Is there anybody else around here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, behind you, there's people with their cameras up and they're filming there, and somebody goes, "It's Misty! Misty!" As you saw, like, generally. Yeah, go
How
for it.
about authority-wise, police-wise?
No, nothing at the moment. Right. But you do think, I mean, you flew here, you know, so they're probably on their way. But even if they come by car, there's going to have to stop at either end of the bridge and proceed on foot. Okay. We love you, Misty.
In which case, yeah, I'll go down, I'll land. I'm going to...
Somebody says,
break the glass.
"Flush him out, Misty, flush him."
What does that mean?
Oh
my. I bring an enema.
Yes.
So yeah,
go to it, Emina girl.
I'm going to try and cool down the handle. So I will. I'll put water on my hand, and then open the door.
Yeah,
a quick yank open.
So make a brawn check for me.
Oh, I knew you'd ask that. Oh!
The best. Yeah, you sort of like think, oh no, you go boom like that, and it was sealed or locked. You haven't pulled it off the hinges, but you've given it almighty thing, and there's people going, "Yeah, go Misty!" You know, and you're sort of like thinking, "Phew." That was very lucky. Okay, so as you pull open the door, you can actually see inside that the man is alive. He seems to be coughing and spluttering. The flames are not reaching the back of the car.
Well, I'm going to yell to him, "Get out now! Get out!"
Yeah, he seems
I'm not going to try and lift him. I'm going to tell him to get out now.
He seems to be overcome with smoke at the moment, so he's sort of going as if he's quite smothered with it. But he can try and get out by himself under his.
I'll try to assist where I can, but I'm not going to drag him out because I haven't got the strength for that, I don't think.
Okay, so his chance to get out is 30%. Okay, and. Oh, he gets a 34. So he tries to stagger his way to these.
Even with me assisting.
How are you going to assist?
So hold my arm out so I can grab onto it and just guide him the way.
Words of encouragement.
Yeah, well, I think once it gets to the point that you're going to give him strength, then that will be the brawn check. But what's your brawn?
30.
30. So if you augment it,
it still wouldn't do it, would it? I don't think, would it? 6.
Would it be 6? But 30 adds 6. His brawn is 30, and he got a 34. So if I'm adding, if I'm adding 6 to it, his skill would be 36, and he's got 34. So you're there. So you're sort of like holding it, take my hand. And
Yeah.
he's sort of like, he starts to drag out. And just at the last moment, he's almost out and he says, my briefcase. And he reaches back and grabs it as you haul him out. And whereabouts would you like to put him? Or whereabouts are you going to encourage him to be?
The other side of the barrier. So I'm assuming there's a barrier across the middle. So
yeah,
there.
but it's not a full barrier. Yeah.
No. Yeah. It
Yeah.
could be just like one of those 2 feet ones or 3 feet
Okay.
ones.
Yeah. So people are gathering round, taking photographs.
Yeah.
And
And these people are saying, has anybody got some water? And to give him. Oh, hang on.
Only me?
use your water, Mister.
No. I do that in the movies.
Whereabouts would you like to be?
Let's pop him behind this car over here.
Okay. So pop your put your token over there as well. Okay, back up to the taxi things. What's going to be the plan? Is the plan now to try to drag the taxi back from the edge?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Rabbit wants to join in here, so she's going to give you her augmented brawn roll.
Is a pow, a 9.
9. Go for it, Banner.
All right. Adding 9. Should I just add 9 or just add 9 after the effect?
Well,
I'll just add.
put it on.
I'll just roll it and then. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, put it as a temporary thing because it changes your crit and everything.
All right.
Not by much, but
By 1%.
Just
almost.
enough.
just enough. I looked then and thought you got a 1, but you didn't. That was the weedy person below you. Yeah. So you let me do my roll. Yeah, your roll is higher, and with Rabbit's help, you start to pull the taxi and them off from the edge. And once it gets there, the person in the front appears to be unconscious, and there's a woman and a child that seems to be passengers in the back. You also notice that you can hear sirens on both ends of the bridge, and Misty has carefully taken the person to the away and is sort of like making sure. And the mist, if you remember, dampened down the back, but even though it was there, I take it now that you're not concentrating on it, doing so much action, Misty.
Well, what I would do is once he's safe, I would then go back to keep it controlled because I don't want it to spread.
Right. So you're going back. Back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to go all the way back. I can do it from where I am, can't I?
As long as you can see it.
Yeah.
It depends whether or not. I was just thinking when.
So what I'll do is I'll raise up 10 feet.
Yeah, I was more thinking that when you were pulling him out of the, can you concentrate on something and do actions, or are they harder? I forget what it said. So you
do you want to make a willpower check and hard?
Oh yes, that sounds a good idea. Yeah, that would be good. He says he knows he's got 92. Yeah. So yeah, you go back to actually douse, keeping this fire under control. It's not spreading. But it does appear that the engine is still alight. That is your worry at the moment. And if at any point it does explode, there are a few people almost like taking pictures of it. Is there anything you would like to do?
Well, in which case, I'm going to shout to the people around saying, get out of the way. It could explode at any moment.
Okay.
And I'll use my commanding voice.
Yeah, use
It's
roll
like
your
an influence.
roll,
Yeah.
roll. And I tell you what, roll your influence, but I'll let you augment it with your reputation.
32, so that's going to be another 6% on that.
Yep.
It won't make a difference really, will it? 59.
Yeah, no, you've succeeded, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they actually do take a bit of notice of you, and you sort of like try to herd them back out the way, and not a moment too soon, as the front engine ignites and the front of the car explodes. Probably would have killed several people on the other side of the barrier if you hadn't got them away from it. It doesn't look like it's just sort of like a and now it's just sort of like keep burning, and you notice that the fire engines and things like that are coming onto the scene. Banner, you've pulled this back. And Rabbit, you were going to the side, were you? Is that?
Yep. I want to start getting people out fast, especially the mom and child, since somebody else is better at picking up bodies.
Yeah, so you, once you open the door's not locked or anything like that. It was just precarious on the bridge. And you sort of like open that, and the mother and the child gets out quite quickly. Are you looking at the driver as well?
I'll go open the driver's door.
Okay. So you you open the door. Just roll your brawn check for me.
Alrighty then.
I just want to see whether or not you fail. That's all I'm looking. so
That.
You reach down, you go boom like that with the door, and the whole door comes off and flies off the bridge, and you roll
a ticket for littering.
Yeah, totally wrecked it. Just make for me, please, a hard perception check.
Hard perception check. This is gonna be super hard. Yeah. That's a failure.
Yeah, but oh yeah, even if you reverse it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sort of like see the body inside, and at this moment, fire crew arrive, and the paramedics come up to you, Banner, and say, "Right, leave them with us." And sort of like they pull out the taxi driver, and
I say to them, I have no idea what this man's thinking. You're not supposed to be driving while napping.
And one of them turns around and says, "Banner, he wasn't napping." And they turn his head to one side, and the thing that you didn't see in the car, but it's quite obvious now when it's pointed out to you, he was shot.
From behind, right?
It's from this. It's coming in the side of his head, but you completely missed it. And when you sort of like say, "Should not be sleeping on the job," the paramedics say, "But Banner, he wasn't sleeping. He was shot."
Excuses.
Yeah, and the mother and the daughter thank you, Rabbit, and they seem to be being taken off by paramedics. Your guy Misty, they're putting like an oxygen mask on his face, and this guy is almost like cuddling his briefcase. And the paramedics say, so like, let us have it. He says, no. and he sort of like continues to grab it, and the fire crew put out the burning engine, and you hear you overhear Misty, the fire crew talking to each other, and they sort of like say, "Oh, poor Blighter, there's nothing left of him apart from a charred crisp," and it looks like the fire's been very intense at that point. And
Is it a privately driven car? It's not a taxi, isn't it?
it's not a taxi, correct?
It's like a chauffeur-driven car.
Yeah, it's probably
Right.
something that you would be quite
Familiar, yeah.
comfortable and familiar with. You do hear something else. The one of the firefighters was just saying, he says, it's unusual that the fire gets so hot to be able to crisp a body like that. And you actually have a glance out to look over Misty, whether or not you're down or up, and you do see that the hands of the driver are still on the wheel.
Oh my God. So literally just stuck to the wheel with the heat.
Yeah. And that seems to be concerning the fire crew.
Yeah. This was an assassination attempt. of some kind, I
Roll roll an inside check for me, please.
Oh no. Oh, do you know what?
A bunch
I've
of
already
bad
said
rolls,
it.
aren't we?
Yeah, I'm going to use a point of luck and roll that again.
Okay, go for it. Nice. Okay, you overhear one of the firefighters, and this gives you the idea as they're talking. You hear them talking, and they talk about it's almost as if he instantly combusted at the wheel.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, it's almost as if he was the source of the fire that then went to the engine,
that's magic.
rather than the engine coming through. Yeah, and Rabbit, sorry, one last thing. Rabbit, what would you like to do? This woman and the child are thanking you. Well, roll your reputation, Rabbit. Are you looking at?
No, I'm not looking at. Well, actually, no. No, I'm not looking at.
They sort of like thank you, and they don't want their picture with you. They just sort of like, yeah, and they seem to look around. Banner, roll your reputation.
Shut up, kitty. There you go.
Are you looking at?
Reverse it.
Yeah. Well, they don't seem to be interested. Misty, roll yours.
Wow.
No. She just sort of like says, well, thank you for rescuing us. It was very kind of you. And they sort of like, the paramedics take them off behind the blue car with the flashing green, blues and reds on, and sort of like start to look after them. And yeah, is there anything you would like to do before you leave the scene?
Could I go back to this man with the briefcase?
Yeah, he's on a stretcher, hugging it still. He's got an oxygen mask on, and paramedics are about to take him off in the ambulance.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to him and say, "Who are you that somebody would want to kill you?"
And the power, he looks quite shocked, and he's all like, "Somebody wants to kill me?" And the paramedics are like, "Just keep calm, sir. Just keep calm." And they've got a blood pressure thing. I said, maybe later, Misty. Maybe talk to him later. And you hear him go, "Oh my God, somebody's trying to kill me." And they sort of like lift up I often like, these stretchers that lift up and the wheels.
Gurneys, what they're called.
Yeah, the wheels click out. And they sort of like start to take him away. Well, I will give
I
you.
want to check out at some point before we end the scene.
So Misty, I will give you that you don't know what his Christian name is, but the crew were addressing him as Mr. Barnes. With an E, so Barnes. Well, why am I telling you it's got an E? There is no relevance.
They spelled it out in front of him. They're like, well, "Wait, the Mr. Barnes with no E or
The inventor of the Barnes? No,
Thinking,
yes.
why am I bothering saying with an E? It's not as if it's going to be an anagram. Oh, that's an idea.
Maybe the coven are like all people with called Barnes, but with no E.
With no E on it.
You
Ballard,
found an MO, everyone.
Ballard, you said there was one thing that you wanted to do before you left.
Well, I guess it'll be two things, but it's all connected. I want to see if I can see like if I was on the passenger side or the driver's side that the bullet hole went through. So assuming that I threw away the car door, maybe the bullet hole was on the driver's side.
Yeah, so the bullet hole, so they're driving as Metro is like a UK city. And so I don't get confused. So the driver's on the right. Yeah. And the window on the right-hand side is the one that has been shot.
Okay.
Now, just to remind you, this car would have been going that way.
Okay,
Does that make sense? So the bullet would have come in from this side. Yeah.
Yeah, which is very difficult to do if you're not a vehicle. And I don't think a lot of is this a like a passenger walkway or anything?
No.
All right. So some really good shot.
Roll your insight. Do you have an army skill or anything like that?
I have culture military.
Okay, so roll your insight, but augment it with your military skill. And then we'll go for our break.
58%.
6, so be adding 12, I think.
Okay, awesome. And insight. Where are the?
Oh, I was dead on the button.
I'm gonna use my point of luck on this one. I feel like this is important.
Okay, so roll it again.
Come on, baby. Give me the good shit. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Okay.
We just like rolling the crits, everybody.
Yeah.
That felt good. That felt good. I need that.
You have a look at the glass and the bullet hole, and it's a through and through on the driver. And so you suspect it was some kind of long range sniper shot.
Can I peer out in the distance to see, like, where would that be from? Like, would it be just like, obviously, I don't have like trajectory angles and stuff like things of that nature, but is there like, hey, there's a.
You're roughly in the middle of the bridge, but so he was probably shot. So this is coming. The top part is downtown, and the top part is Metro. Does that make sense? So they're actually traveling from downtown up to Metro City. So it would have come from the downtown area.
Okay.
And with that is a perfect point for us to have a break. So we'll be back 10 to the hour. 10 to the hour. Okay. So go off, have yourself a break, have a Kit Kat, and we will see you back here at 10 to 9. Okay, see you real soon. Yeah, the first one came out. No, which one? I've done the first one. The first one came out the 1st of April.
Oh,
Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
I thought it was an April Fool's joke.
No, it's really interesting actually, because the first one that I did on the 1st of April was with Ken and Chris, and I actually recorded it before Christmas, and then it was stopped. But they run Destined games for each other.
Cool.
So there's one GM and one player, and then they swap, but both characters are in the same world.
Oh, is one good and one evil?
No, they're both good,
Oh.
but something that one does can affect the game for somebody else. But they never play. That's it. There's only 2 of them. Does that make sense? So it's always a GM, and then they swap over. I just think when they talk about it, and I think one of them started off as an owl sat in a tree in the park because he was a shapeshifter and things like that. But it's really interesting. And then the next one comes out 1st of May, which is all recorded and done, and that's
Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to, I've had lots of really nice comments from people about everything. So that's good. Okay. So we have finished the bridge scene, and I'm assuming that you're going to head back to your base, which would be Sophia's house. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes.
Food.
Because she has a lot of food there, and I am winded still, I presume, until I get there and relax for a while and eat. And eat.
Right. Let me. Okay. Is there anything that you want to do before the next segment of the story happens?
I would like to put a general search in social media and things like that for this Barnes. I know what it looks like, so I'm hoping if I just type it into a book of people's faces.
So like typing it
Website.
into Google and seeing what comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll your research. However, before you roll it, it's going to be formidable to get a match. Oh. I'm going home. I tell you.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I knew that algorithm that I wrote.
Do you know, I wish I'd said it had to be Herculean now, because you still would.
That's a proper crit, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It was a crit up to hard, and then after that it's just a success. But a Herculean roll, you actually got 5 out of a skill of 8. You know, which is pretty good going. Okay, was it good luck, or was it your proficiency with the internet? You actually locate 3 Barneses, okay, or with an E, that would fit the description, i.e., there might have been some that were farmers, but this guy was obviously not a farmer. Interestingly enough, one of them works for a bank. Okay. Another one is an assistant director to a corporation that deals with the creation of real estate, selling houses, building houses. And then the final one, the final Mr. Barnes, actually belongs to or works at Network 7. And
Sorry, you broke up then.
Network 7.
Right.
And he's actually one of the shareholders. So he doesn't necessarily work in Network 7, but he is one of the shareholders.
If possible, and let me know if I can't, I do have a professional skill in computers, but is there any chance of doing a news search or
Yeah.
especially with
So-
Network 7, to see if somebody from those companies have been reported ill or, in hospital?
So I think what we'll do with that is let's play the next part, and then the by that time the actual crash and everything.
Soft in the middle.
Sorry. My phone.
Who's soft in the middle?
No, it's food.
Then what's going to happen? Then that report will come out, and then you'll know from the report who, whether or not it was a Network 7 or anything like that at that time.
Brilliant.
Your computer skill is probably more to do with hacking.
Right. Yeah.
And sort of like picking. So, well, while you're still searching, waiting for the news to come up, that actually tells you more about the crash, etc. Rabbit, you get a buzz from Ethan, your curator friend, and he has made some progress. This is imagine that you did the bridge, you've been back home, you've had something to eat. So it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, coming up to 5 o'clock, and he has some information for you. And he states that he is not prepared to talk about it over the communication or the phone. He would like to meet you, all of you. You can all go in his office in the museum.
Okay.
Yeah, when he called, I immediately answered and like ran right into the research room because I'm hanging out at Sophia's house, and just slammed the phone down, and so everybody heard it on speaker.
Brilliant. Yeah. Just roll Rabbit. He's your contact. So just roll a insight. And if you're critting this, I'm going home. I'm just finishing the adventure then.
No, I'm gonna get something like 54, and I'm gonna still fail. Oh,
Hey!
No, you succeeded. You know Ethan. He's a bit boring. I mean, he's a museum curator. But they seem to be, you recognize a sense of urgency in his voice.
And excitement?
No,
Oh.
quite the opposite. Quite as if he's worried about something.
Now what I'm thinking in my head is about specifically what I found out on the bridge. I don't know, is this something I should do a roll for insight for?
Stop, I've just dropped my piece of
No.
shaky
Banner.
hands. I just went,
So he's like, Banner had an idea. What?
yeah.
Sorry.
Look, I actually have to cut my toast up into quarters like this, because if I have it any bigger, I can't hold it. I just go and it flows out. So that landed Nutella side down as well. Oh yeah. And what do you want to find out information about something?
Yeah, so I would imagine Banner being, he has a past in the military and whatnot. I'd imagine he find it pretty significant that's a driver driving on a bridge that could be, half a mile away, gets shot in the head by a bullet. So my assumption is that whoever shot him is probably a really, really good sniper specialist.
That would be a valid assumption.
So I'm thinking Banner, probably not at this point, but if there's going to be a kind of break between things, for him to maybe look out for someone he knows from the military, from someone from his past, and maybe might know something about someone who's just really known to be this great of a shot
Okay.
that might be in the city.
Okay. We can work on that as a do you want it as a possible contact?
Yeah, I would like to have a someone, you know, that I used to know from my past life in the military.
Military. Okay. We can
Yeah.
work
So-
on that. Yeah. Go for it, Misty.
Going with that, Banner. And this is Sophia talking to Banner here. Don't you think it's strange that your car was shot and my car that I rescued was he spontaneously combusted in the space of 30 feet from each other? Maybe the sniper was aiming for this driver.
That's
here.
what I was thinking too. I mean, that makes sense, Misty. Maybe I didn't think of that myself, but now it
Because
all
you
seemed
got
to be
9
coming together.
intelligent.
Yeah. It's hard to play a dumb character and get things done.
I mean, Mr. Barnes did seem very concerned about his briefcase. Nothing else but his briefcase.
Mr. Barnes? Yes. We should figure
And
that out.
Why would
Maybe
a sniper? Sorry, why would a sniper take out a taxi driver with a woman and a child in the back?
Either one, I'd imagine for distraction, or two, he missed.
I like that idea of a distraction. I'm not saying that's what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll have to figure it out. I will reach out to my contacts so I can get down to the bottom of this.
I think the other thing Banner could do at a later date is maybe go and walk the
I was thinking,
the side of the bridge to see whether or not where an appropriate shot could be taken from. Could do
side of the bridge or the edge of the water, see if there's any area that
or nearby
would have shot from.
buildings, the roof of nearby buildings. So that can be something that let's. And do you all want to go back to the curators, or do you want to split up?
No, he asked for us all to go, didn't he?
He invited you all, yeah.
We can go there because it's still the same night, correct?
It's still the same
afternoon.
day, yeah.
It's like
So
4.
we can go there, and then we can split up to do our own investigative work
Later on, yeah. Okay then.
Yeah.
So, let me just tell you what happened. So, the museum is coming back to be closed, and Ethan Rabbit, has his office in the museum, and apparently as you arrive and the security guards are shutting the museum down, he has mentioned that you are coming, and the security guard takes you up a couple of flights of stairs, and you notice that it's got that musty smell about it, that smell of old books. And you seem to go down a corridor to the last door in the corridor. And does Rabbit just walk in?
She knocks really, really fast and like 18 times, but then
And goes,
she walks in.
Rabbit, Rabbit, like this. So is that Ethan, like big bang, or does she walk in?
Well, her 18 knocks are like extremely fast, and then she just opens the door because for her it's been a while.
Yeah, the smell of an old D&D book. Yeah, and you walk in, and the first thing that you all notice is Ethan is not the tidiest person. There's lots of piles of parchment, of books, of images piled up on desks, and there's also seems to be a whole load of images on the wall. And when you walk in, he's studying something, and he sort of like sees you. He sort of like stands up and he ushers you in and says, shut the door.
Hopefully, is it me that shuts the door? Because I would like
I'll try and quickly usher my friends in. Quick, Banner, please, through the door. Don't break it.
It's like trying to fit through the door and everything. Ew. Just
Misty,
kinda
of
looking
course, you're
around.
just beautiful. So
Oh,
I never have problems getting Misty to go through doorways.
No, I'll go through the door quite and smile cheekily at Rabbit.
I'll close the door.
women together, sisterhood. Okay.
Yes.
He sort of like looks, sits back down at his table, and he starts to frantically look through things as if he's finding something to lift up and show you. And he sort of like says, "Look," and he plonks this image down, and it seems to be an image of glyphs and things. And he says, "This is the first thing." He says, "I was wrong. It doesn't mean what I said it was. Safe passage 2. Do you remember?"
Yes, of course I remember.
Of course I do. Yes, I remember what you said earlier.
These glyphs do not say safe passage 2. They say safe passage from the afterlife.
Oh, okay.
As if it's suggesting that this tablet might have something to do with opening a portal or something and inviting Egyptian mummies or ancestors through a portal into the material plane. He says it might have been used to commune with the dead or something like that.
Are you talking about raising the dead?
No, not at all. This seems to talk about opening a portal between the afterlife, whether or not this be hell or not.
Right.
I'm an atheist. Does that mean a coffin comes through
Uh,
covered in dirt?
Maybe some kind of demons or devils or something like that. And then he says,
devils.
that's not the only thing. And he sweeps through a whole load of paper. There's not a computer in sight in this place. And he presents you with a report. And he says, found the report of the discovery of the original tablet. Several things. One of the pieces, it appears, was kept by one of the original excavators. However, it just says he disappeared sometime after. So location of that shard is currently unknown. But he says, I know where the another 2 pieces of the shard are. So one has gone missing. We have one. And we bought, as in the museum, bought our shard from a rich benefactor who kept the one piece of the shard. He had 2 pieces and sent one to the museum. We bought for here and kept the one in his mansion out in his country home. Interestingly enough, apparently these shards were passed down his family line from his father to son. And, well, not too quite clear, but it says that it was donated to the museum. And he said something in the report about him not wanting to keep the 2 together.
What's the name of your benefactor?
He says, I've got that somewhere. and he starts to rummage through, and he says, there's another point. He says, there was another piece was at our sister museum, which is in a city north of Metro on the coast called Seabliss. However, and you're going to find this mighty weird, the curator of Seabliss contacted me this morning when they saw the news on Network 7. Would you believe they lost or had their piece of shard stolen just 3 days before us? And the same MO. No forced entry and only one thing taken out of the whole museum. And he suddenly finds a piece of paper. He says, oh, here it is. He says, and he sort of like puts it down on the table. And there seems to be an address and a location. And it seems to be, there's the name. There's no Christian name. It just has written along the top. It says, Mr. McLeod.
Barnes.
And yeah.
It's all coming together.
And
He's
then
really
all of
rather
a sudden
sitting
he
in
thinks,
this-
wait, it's not McLeod
McLeod,
at all.
it's I thought it was Barnes was running around with his shard in his suitcase.
That would have been too easy.
It would have been McLeod.
McLeod.
Is it Connor?
Say again, sir.
Is his first name Connor?
He doesn't know. It just says Mr. McLeod.
So it's not Connor McLeod from the Clan McLeod.
You happen to have an address, or
Yes, there's an
I'm wondering who
address.
he likes to frequent.
There's an address to his mansion house outside Metro.
Hmm.
So it's almost like a little bit further out than your abode,
more
Sophia.
posher.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost like sitting on its own estate.
Except the Wayne Manor.
Yeah, that would seem. You know, in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, there's somebody who is a benefactor in that. He found the tablet and everything. It's a bit like him. He seems to be somebody who's interested in antiquities and things like that.
Right, so let me get straight. We've got one shard missing. We've got one with a benefactor, one at the Seabliss. Were there two more? And where were they? Sorry.
So one was kept with the original excavation person.
That's right, the original
And that's
excavation.
disappeared. There was one at the Seabliss Museum.
Yeah.
That's gone. There was one at Metro City's museum. That's gone.
Gone.
And then the benefactor has one.
So 4 in total.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Well,
Sorry, for some reason I got 5 in my head.
the other thing that Ethan says, sorry, he says he shows you the pictures of the one and the Seabliss, etc., and they all seem to come together with this circle in the middle, as if there's something else that joins onto it.
Like a big ball of jam, and it's a jammy dog.
Yeah.
I guess it just seems out of character for you, Ethan, to be so scared of something that is just relics from an old civilization.
He reminds you. He says there's definitely something about these Egyptian curses.
Do they all have the same runes on them? Or
Yeah.
glyphs, sorry.
Yeah. Safe
So
passage
you truly believe this?
from the underworld. He
Unless
says,
it's-
well,
yeah.
he says, whatever's left no matter how impossible it seems or improbable, has to be the right answer.
If you put all 4 together, how big would the hole be in the middle? I mean, you should be able to work that out from the circumference of the.
Yeah, it's sort of like.
So it's like maybe a gem or something could go in
Yeah,
there,
a gem or like a little cog or something.
Or a staff of Ra.
Yeah, so something could go like that through it, like an axle or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something could be pressed into it and to join it together. You don't think it, you think if anything went in there, it wouldn't just be, it'll probably be fused or something. There might be some magic about it that causes it to stick.
So if this is truly something that's concerning, then what should we do when we get these tablets? Should we just smash these on rocks? Should Banner smash them on rocks?
Yes. This makes sense to me.
He says, definitely. He says, Rabbit, I'm a bit concerned with you dealing with this. There's something strange happening here. Something very strange. And possibly deadly.
Can you? Sorry, I know you're Rabbit's friend, but would it be possible for you to contact Mr. McLeod and tell him we're coming over?
Yeah. So Ethan, he says he's more than happy to do that, and he says he's got the number so he can give Mr. McLeod a ring.
And maybe just explain the situation that 3 are missing and we're worried about him.
Yeah, he's more than happy to do that.
Wonderful. If you can contact Rabbit with the reply, that would be, you'd be most helpful, Ethan. Thank you.
Yeah, and he agrees and says he'll get on to it right away. And as you leave the office, he just calls out and says, Rabbit, look out for yourself.
Ominous, but thank you. I'll take that.
Okay, so my next question is, how are you going to get to the mansion?
So I was just thinking, at least he didn't say, Rabbit, if anything bad happens, leave them behind and run.
Yeah, just ignore the rest of them.
Yeah.
Escape
go
the
fast.
danger. Yeah, go fast. Just go fast.
Yeah, when it comes to miles away, I think Banner will get pretty tired if he's having to bound for miles.
Correct.
So most likely he's going to have to stop by and jump into the Honda Civic, so that way, and pretend he has to deliver a pizza or something.
Yeah, and I imagine that your Honda Civic has a pizza slice on the top of it or something, you know, like free advertising as you go. Right.
Domingo's
Okay.
Pizza.
So Banner's being quite. Are you taking Rabbit and Misty in the Honda Mobile, the Banner Mobile?
No way.
I'd rather be a driver of a taxi hanging over a bridge.
What's wrong with the Bannermobile?
Well, first off, I have a limit, and as somebody of my height in a Honda Civic, I feel so terribly cramped that I can't imagine Rabbit with an innate fear of being trapped in a small metal box is going to handle that to any degree. I'm required to go fast.
Hear me out. In the back seat, there's a few boxes with cold pizza in there. So
wow,
I'm just saying.
That's
the
a
back
deal.
seat is even worse.
That's a deal breaker, isn't it?
Misty has a problem. Misty has a problem with getting bacteria out of her clothing.
Oh.
Why don't Misty? Don't you have a new ride?
Well,
Yeah, it's only a
Jaguar.
T6. It's a 2-seat
it's
convertible.
We can make a fleet.
I've got the limo, but I don't really want to
like
take that.
that.
It's got my plates on, hasn't it? So people go,
yeah.
there's Sophia. So no.
So I take probably my mask off when driving it, so people don't know. I was like,
so
I'm driving.
does
I'm going to fly there.
Okay.
But I'll keep above Banner,
Yeah, I got you.
and every now and again I'll drop a rain cloud on him.
My only one windshield wiper works, so it's gonna be
It's been raining for miles
automatic.
now. Why is it only raining on me?
It'd be like the creepy coop out of Wacky Races, if you remember the creaky coop.
That's right.
That had the dragon, but it always had a little rain cloud just above it, and then that was it. So how's Rabbit getting there?
I guess I'll sprint there. I'm going to try and race this Honda Civic, see if I can outpace a beater car.
Something that can probably max out at 55 miles per hour.
So you, with the Honda,
but then I'll wait at like the gate or whatever. I won't like pass into it. I just want to go there and then lurk somewhere.
Yeah. Well, so just to let you, Rabbit, when you get to the address, there seems to be a low wall around the whole estate and quite a grand driveway up to the house. That's almost like it's one of these. Sorry, am I boring someone? Was it?
No, it's my eyes are going. Thank you.
Oh, you need glasses, I tell you. So it's one
You're
of
the only
these
one.
symmetrical stately homes. Does that make sense? That they're sort of like a cube with equal amount of windows on either side. And Rabbit, when you get there, slightly before the rest, there seems to be, it's coming in dark because it must be about 7 o'clock now, 7:30. But as you look up, there seems to be no lights on in the mansion at all. At that point, Banner arrives with, does your pizza vehicle have like a tune like an ice cream van or something? As it pulls up, does it make a tune? Play a tune?
Only if I honk the horn.
Yeah.
Only if I honk the horn.
Stop me for pizza or something. And so you park up your Honda Civic and Misty, you arrive. And the gate is open. It's not locked. You can't see any cars or anything in the driveway at all. There seems to be a long driveway, and you figure this place probably has 2 floors and then probably some kind of attic from where you are. You can definitely see doors on the front and windows, loads of windows. They tend to be sort of like the hashed windows, so they're sort of like really small panes of glass. But they seem to be on both sides, and you guys are stood at the open gate.
I'm going to make my way up to the front of the house, but as I'm doing so, I'm remembering back to the museum, and I want to be looking at the windows, and I want to be looking for any strange lights.
Nice.
Coming from the windows.
Nice.
Or flashlights.
And Rabbit and Banner, you.
Rabbit is likely trying to make herself look more proper and like, because Ethan's a professional, so she's probably like, oh, my hair's a little bit loose. I'm trying to make myself look professional, but it's not really working. It's just coming off as an anxious tag along.
At that point, as you're walking up, you get a message in that comes across your phone or your communicators from Ethan. And it's just a written message, and it just says, no one at home. No answer to the phone.
Well, we made this drive all the way out here. Well, me, sort of.
Interesting.
So you head up the drive, and Misty, you are the first to notice because you were actually watching. On the ground floor to the right of the door, there seems to be a sudden purpley light that lights up the room inside behind the window. So you can either go through the door and try to find the room, or you can bash through the windows. Misty, I presume you're telling everybody.
I will be telling. No, I was saying rabbit.
Run,
Banner,
rabbit,
they're
run,
in there.
Rabbit.
Rabbit, get in there as quick as you can. But remember those barriers. Banner, see that window there? Make a door for Rabbit, please.
Yes, Misty. I take out my shield and then I do a quick run and I jump with the shield out to bash through the window.
Yeah, so you got a huge amount of strength. Just roll your normal combat skills. Just make sure that we don't fail at this, because I don't want you to drop your shield.
Oh, I can definitely fail at this. I can see it right now. You set me up for failure. No. Okay.
No, yeah, and you go. Is it the window that you can see the purple light from? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm going to bring you over to the map, and just to let you know, you can see all the mansion. But I know you're all good role players and will not use it to your advantage. Can you see the map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Such a
We're all in a
waste of
bedroom.
square footage. Jesus.
So this is the window here.
Mhm.
That Banner, you come flying through. Rabbit, Banner bashes through it with the shield, and Rabbit, you come through it at Mark's speed. Misty, are you following in behind?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and you can see here. I'm just going to draw a line for it, so you can actually view it. Here, there is the portal. Okay,
Ooh.
it looks like it's just opened because it looks like two people, hooded and robed, are stepping through it. However,
on our side towards the table.
yeah, so they're going from the table, going through the door, through the portal. However, Banner, as you come bashing through and Rabbit, you scoot in, one of them turns around and clicks their finger or fingers, and suddenly the room is covered in darkness. Hopefully you can't see anything now.
I can see everything.
I see dead people.
Hang on.
Yep, now it's dark.
Dark.
Is it dark? Can you,
Yeah, it's dark on my end.
Rabbit, is it dark for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So now, just like there was still some light outside, but it's literally pitch black in here.
Plus the light from the portal as well. It illuminates this room like I don't know what.
Yeah, that's all gone.
We're blind.
You are completely in darkness. Oh,
I'm gonna quickly
on.
say to Banner.
Just 1 second, because it might affect. It looks like there's complete darkness, but suddenly there's one thing that you can see. Well, actually, two things. There's two red sets of eyes, very low down, probably cat, like panther, tiger sort of like height. And you notice them in the room, and they seem to be at the far end where the portal was, and then they disappear. So it looks like they came into the room for a moment. You could see the two pairs of red glowy eyes, and then they went.
Well, I'm going to say to Banner, kick the table.
That's what I was about to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first thing you're both going to, everybody's going to do, is to roll some initiatives for me.
Oh, let's click my token. Ha, ha.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there we
Okay.
go.
No.
Rolling low.
Initiative. Oh my god.
Oh, you beat me. Brilliant.
That's the best time I've ever rolled that.
Let's just add Misty, because I don't think Misty's yours. Came
No,
up,
I couldn't click my tracker. My token, sorry.
16, yeah.
Mhm.
Chats has just said, "Good luck, heroes." I don't know whether or not that was "good luck" or "Phew, good luck, heroes." I'm not
Well.
too sure which one is which. Okay, then. Yeah. Rabbit.
Hopefully I had my quarterstaff prepared to extend, or ideally extended, but yeah, I want to get my quarterstaff equipped, and then I want to test to see if I can leave the way I just entered.
Okay.
The thought process, of course, being that if maybe I can see something out in the good clean air.
Okay. Got ya. I just need to roll my 1d10 here to get my initiative. Yeah. Okay then. So Banner, what would you like to? You're next up.
Ben is super frustrated because again, he seems to be in a position in which he can't just like physically beat the shit out of something in front of him. So he's out of anger. He's going to kick the table that he knew was in front of him, and hopefully it like bursts and goes towards the people he just saw.
So it is the idea to push the table.
Yeah,
back
towards them.
Yeah,
or even kick it hard enough to where it goes airborne and heads that direction.
Yeah. Okay then.
So whichever.
And Sophia, Misty, what are you planning on doing?
Be mute.
Just out of interest, can you see other people's tokens?
No, I can't see anything.
Yeah, got you.
It's completely black. It's like I've literally got a black square on my screen. I'm guessing that Misty would have noticed the height of this room.
Yeah,
it's
just like a normal normal height.
So it's going to be like sort of 12 feet high.
Yeah.
Ceilings, isn't it? So I'm going to raise myself up gently until I can touch the ceiling.
Got you.
And then I'm just going to look or listen around rather than,
Yeah. Okay then. So Banner, let's get you you rolling your brawn to bash this table back.
See if they can do this embarrassingly or not.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Wow.
You give this, you sort of like semi-kick, semi-throw it, and you feel, you just go poof, like this, and you feel that it goes flying off, and you hear it clattering against the wall at the other side. Rabbit, you managed to back up. You're very close to the window, and you managed to almost like escape out into the dusk. And you do notice that it looks like it's like a block of darkness inside. And Sophia, you rise above, and the first thing that you do notice is that the darkness totally encloses everything. But it's time that
for something different.
I need to do some rolls. Let me just make sure I've got. That's what I want. There we go. That's better. Right. This attack is coming straight at you. Anybody who gets attacked, you are not prepared for this. Okay, so they're actually attacking without you knowing, and the first one comes to you, Rabbit. As you escape out into the darkness, something escapes with you, and just as you move out, you suddenly feel something pounce on you from behind.
But I am in the light now, correct?
You're in
or
the
am I still in the
dusk.
dark?
You're in the
Or
dusk.
yeah, the outside dusk.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just want to confirm.
Yeah, so this beast.
I would like to use a power, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh wait, no, this might not work. Hold on. I want to use Bad Penny if I can. From my luck, they will spend a luck point to downgrade the success of the target that I can see.
Oh, right. So you would.
I can't see it.
Correct.
Okay, I can't use that then.
Okay then. So this creature pounces out, and it sort of like hits you full on the back. It's going to land it on your 17.
Left arm. Always my left arm.
And it then does some damage to you. 3 points of damage to you. But can you please make a I think it's your. Oh no, you don't know it's coming. So it actually dives out, grabs onto your arm with its mouth, and you feel the teeth sink almost like into you as it's not letting go. It's got your arm firmly in its jaws. It looks like a giant hellhound panther sort of like thing. It's got sleek black fur and glowing eyes that seem to come in and out of glow. Sophia, you're high up and nothing comes near you at all, but something, Banner, hits you. Or it might hit you. Let me roll to hit.
Oh, damn.
It certainly does.
Sorry, it's not supposed to work that way.
Yeah, sorry, it's not supposed. This is coming into your 16.
My
Left arm.
yeah, left arm. Where my shield's on.
Our lucky lefties.
So this does a total, as its bite collapses round it, it does a total of 8 points of damage to your arm.
Okay.
And now it's sunk in it. But please do tell me if people go into negative hit points. If you're still pluses, then we're fine. We're just in minor wounds.
It's clamped onto my arm though. It didn't just nip it and ran off.
It didn't. It's actually collapsed onto it, and that brings the first turn to an end. Rabbit, I'm just keeping you in the dark so you don't know what's happening inside the room.
That's why I confirmed earlier. I just want to make sure I did make it out or if I didn't.
Yeah, so
Good,
you are
good.
out. Yes. So we're coming back up to the top of the round. So turn 2, Rabbit, you're up. You still got all your action points left.
That's really nice. Wait, I don't lose one in the first turn moving?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I would lose that one.
Yeah, you would lose that because of the first turn coming up. Yeah, so that was sort of like getting out. Banner was flipping the table. Misty was going up in the air. So you've lost that first action point. So we're on to round 2, turn 2 now. So you'll have 2 left, I would have thought.
Yes, that is correct. Just want to make sure. So it's clamped onto me, so that's like a grapple, correct?
Correct.
Which would mean I need to break that grapple. And I probably can't use my staff very well in this position.
So in order to break a grapple, you need to take the struggle action. So that's the first thing that you do. So you take the struggle action. So if you're successful taking it, then you will be released. And then I think it is, let me just check. I think we get to choose which way round we want to do it.
Yeah, wasn't it unarmed and brawn?
Opposed roll of brawn or unarmed skill, whichever the attacker prefers. Okay, so
Which would not be me then.
Correct. That it would be me.
Yeah, because that makes sense. You're using like a lock or a hold, or you're just clamping down with force.
Yeah. So what do you get to roll? Which one was it? Which 2?
Unarmed or brawn.
Unarmed and
Okay,
brawn.
then. So let's go because he's probably going to be brawn rather than unarmed because he's firmly attached there. You're going to have to almost like shake him off, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
here is my brawn then. 15.
okay, and the flip modif.
Flick you in the eye. Get off me, puppy. I flick.
Yeah. So that's what was yours? 15 out of 41.
Correct.
Right, mine fails. So you
Question.
Yeah.
If I use bad penny right now, give you a point of luck, and make that a critical failure or a fumble, I should say, does that do anything further? That doesn't give me any.
I
like,
think
benefit,
the
does it?
only thing that I would say, if you made me fumble, I think what I would do is make me prone on the ground.
Yes, I would like to be a bad penny then.
Can you
and give
see?
you one
So
of my points of luck.
you normally you would just fling off, and the wolf would stay. The wolf would stay there. But if you use your bad penny to fumble the roll, then what do you do? Do you just say?
Yeah, let me pop it in the chat here. It is a boost, and it uses luck points instead of power points, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, it says that.
Spend a luck point to downgrade the success. Oh, yes, I see. So it actually downgrades it 1. Yeah, so a failure would become a fumble. Yeah, so you whack this arm, and you sort of like shake off, and almost like the evil wolf goes off and sort of like lands, almost like skids along the side of the floor. A bit, and then sort of like, so it's in a prone position. And we move to you, Banner.
I know like grappling is probably the only way to get out, but is there another way where I can just like jump up and just smash down on the thing on my arm?
You can't smash down.
I just jump up and like it's on my arm, right?
Yeah.
It's on my it's biting my arm.
Yeah.
I can't just like smash it against the ground or anything.
Well, tell me what you're planning on doing when I know you're smashing on the ground, but what are you thinking the outcome would be?
Just my body weight and everything alone would harm the creature. I don't know.
So
I just
are you trying?
essentially it seems silly just like to pull it off me and like, oh, stop that. You know.
Okay, so what you want to do is that you're quite happy for it to be still attached. So what you
Yeah.
actually do want to do is attack it and leave
Exactly.
it attached. Okay, so
Yeah.
what are you attacking it with?
In this case, I was hoping I can use my right arm, my right hand, and just punch it.
Okay, yeah, so that would be an unarmed attack roll.
Okay. We'll do an unarmed attack roll.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very good.
Nice. So I need this. I can't avoid this because I'm attached to you. So I need your special hit location and damage on my little wolfie.
Is it possible to hold on, what's the I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's I have it up here. The not compel surrender. Not is that it would be either pin down or
You won't be able to pin it down is when you're using ranged weapons. There's press advantage. Press advantage is not going to work because it's attached to you.
yeah. Trying to
What's
think
the
of a good
location?
one.
Say again, sorry.
Yeah,
So-
give it a little spanking on the choose
So,
location.
Stun location.
Oh, or that.
Or choose location head.
Or choose location tail.
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
choose location?
So yeah, you can use choose locations just a normal one, isn't it?
Yeah. On the mind
For
sheet
melee.
is. Yeah. So I'll do choose location head,
And
and then I'll roll damage.
yeah. So I need damage on my head.
Hmm.
Wow.
Or that was bad.
Your manly fists are not all that manly.
Just a little,
That was like a
Yeah.
slap. Where was
He
it
pulled
coming
it.
onto
He
my
pulled
head?
it so he didn't break his own arm.
Out. Okay then. So that was on its head, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. That's cool. And yeah. So Sophia, hovering up in your height, can you make for me a perception check? And this is going to be hard.
Oh. I'm gonna use a point to look.
Re-roll it. Go for it.
Yeah, because I did say I was going to be listening,
Yeah. Listen.
but not very well.
Not very well. So you can hear in your darkness. You can hear sounds of combat. There's definitely combat happening. You can hear a growl of something, but although you're listening, you can't seem to pin it down. Maybe it's because of the disorientating effect of the darkness, and you sort of like can hear combat happening, but that's it at the moment. What would you like to do?
Right. Because I went straight up when everything went dark.
Yeah.
I've got a rough direction of where I am or which way I'm facing. So I'm going to move myself while keeping my hands on the ceiling and one hand on the ceiling, one ahead of me to the other side of the room.
Okay, so right, do you mean to where the portal was or northwards?
No, to where the portal was,
Yeah.
towards the door.
Okay then, cool. So you start moving in that direction, and then by the
I'm
time
hoping this darkness ends. So,
you come up against the wall, the other end of the wall.
yeah.
Right, we're coming back to the oh, hang on. I've got some combat, haven't I?
Yeah, back to the beasts.
Yeah. So mind my beast outside a get up. That'd be his action point. And the beast attached to your arm
Mhm.
clamps down on it and does 4 points of damage to that location. And just to let you know, you definitely feel that it's punctured something, and it feels as if there's blood coming out of your arm. I presume I've gone past armor.
Not with this attack though.
With my first attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went past armor with that attack,
that,
and I'm
yeah.
now gripped to you. You whacked me on my head, but I'm fine. I'm staying in there. And yeah, and that's me done. So we're coming back up to the top of the round 3. Rabbit, you're up.
I want to attack, but I also want to shout to my comrades.
Help!
But not this time. Not this time, storyteller. No, I want to shout. There's no darkness outside.
Okay, yeah.
I know it's dusk. I don't add that part though.
Yeah.
But anyways, then I'll go for it.
Yeah, I'm going. And is there anything else you would like to do?
Yes, I want to charge forward with my quarterstaff if I have it. My fists if I don't.
Yeah.
And I would like to use speed charge to make it a hard roll for you to resist this attack.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good to me.
So here is my Fast and Furious.
That's nice.
Sequence down.
So I will try to evade this. So this is going to be a hard roll for me. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh wait, I can just solve this.
Yeah.
I'll give you a point of luck to bad penny it.
Yeah, because otherwise we've actually got the same score.
We've ran into this before, didn't we? Didn't we do like something with we rolled initiative like
that's
a
just
secondary
such an
thing to
unlikely possibility for 2 rolls to be exactly the same.
I know.
It's just, I don't
So
know.
well, it does. You can bad penny it, so you'll make it a fail.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay then. So I actually fail. So you will do and then there's 1 level of difference as well. So you'll get because yours is a success and mine's a fail. So that's a level of success. So you will get 1 special hit location and damage.
I would like to do trip, and it will hit you in the 12, whatever that is.
My front paw.
Yeah, I'm gonna trip you on your paw for 5 damage. That's high for me.
That
Low for Banner.
Yeah, and I need to make a roll, I think.
Yeah, trip is
I think it's either brawn, evade, or acrobatics.
so.
The opponent makes an opposed brawn roll or acrobatics check against the attacker's original roll. Okay, then. So this will be my my evade again. That's my best one.
Stupid dog. You made me look bad.
It's all right. Nobody saw it.
That's fine. It's a vendetta between me and the dog.
It's between you and the dog. Okay, then. Back inside Banner with you on 19.
I'll attack it again, even though I know I want to see what's attacking me, but it pierced blood, so I'm going to attack it again.
Yeah, unarmed again then. Just to let you know, the reason Banner is not opposed by darkness thing is because I'm actually attached to him, so it should be quite easy to see. That's hit. So you got your normal special hit location and damage.
All right. Special. Is there anything else I can do besides just hit location? I'm trying to think of it.
Stun. You could try and stun, like, well, unless you get the head, then if you could stun the head, that would be a really good maneuver, because then maybe it might let go. You could also
yeah.
slap it.
Yeah, I'll just stun it. Whatever.
Stun
Well, no.
location, yeah.
No, because it kind of defeats the purpose. Why I stunned its leg, it's on top, it's not moving its leg. So
Stun its
now
chest, though. What happens if you stun the chest?
Yeah.
Oh.
So what he's saying is that if he takes the stun as his special, he has to roll the hit location. Is that
Yeah.
what? And then if he
Yeah.
stuns a leg,
What's the point? Like it's biting
Yeah,
my.
You could
my-
get
Yeah.
the
it's
chest.
like,
or the
oh,
head.
that sucks, but I want to keep biting. Like,
See, I have this vision of Banner just pummeling down on the head.
yeah, I just like at this
So,
point, I just want to
yeah.
like just smash it on the ground.
So
But,
yeah, and that is basically your unarmed combat. Smashing it on the ground is the only difference is you either smash into his head by using choose location, or you smash it onto the ground and I take it to a random location. You have a different special. So you either want to aim
I'll try to
for
smash
the-
its head.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
'cause
use
I already did some
hit
damage to it.
location head. So do me some damage.
Hopefully, some damage that actually is significant and not just like a little nice flick on the eye.
Yep, just like me. You don't want to be like me.
Yeah,
That's the best I could do.
that's a little better, but
Okay,
not great.
then 7. That takes it down to 5. That takes it down to 2. Okay, so you whack this this head again, and the beast releases its grip on you and
Good.
fly. It's that'll take it way down into negative numbers. So Misty, you're over at the far side of the room. What would you like to do?
Feeling where I'm on the wall, I want to lower myself so I can feel the door. And is the door open or closed?
It's closed.
Okay, down to the floor. Feel for the handle and open the door.
Okay, so you will come out into I need to make you. Can you see anything?
I can see me.
Hang on then. Let me.
Just as a narrative, if I can see now I'm outside the room, if I look back, is it still dark in there?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, can you see anything now?
I can indeed.
Yeah. Let me just increase that for you.
Is it 30-foot light? Oh, I can see everything now.
Yeah. So this outside the door is absolutely fine. There's light. Just out of interest, when you get out of here, this door, can you see where I'm pinging?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That door is open, but it's opened out into the corridor, and it seems to be hanging on one of its hinges. As you come out, you still got a bit of movement left if you want to start moving back down towards it.
Yeah, I'm going to move towards it, but then I'm going to raise myself up as I'm doing so as well. So I'm back to the ceiling again.
Yeah, got you. Rabbit, let's have. What are you doing with yours?
What am I doing?
It'd be your. We're coming into round 2, so you go first, so it's your attack.
And in that case, I actually get some regeneration here, so my left arm should be fully healed because it is the end of the round.
Nice.
Yes, so I would like to swing again. This time I don't think I can speed charge, so I'm just going to swing down as hard as I can with my quarterstaff.
Yeah, nice.
Break a skull.
Oh!
Well, that's my turn.
Yeah.
I can't even luck that if I wanted to, and I kind of like the tick. That's very cute.
Very cute. Yep. Okay then. So who's next? So I've got my banner.
I don't have any more movements, I don't think. Yeah, I did three movements.
It's a new round.
Round
is it?
two,
Okay.
turn 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, on mine it said round 1. All right. Rabbit like shouted from behind me, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump outside behind me.
Okay then. So just make an athletics check. Mainly because you won't have stood perfectly still fighting this hound. So just roll it for me.
All right.
Yeah, you managed to find the window and crash outside, and you see that Rabbit is in combat with a beast. You probably got enough of your movement left to give it a hit. If you wish.
Is it the beast too far from me?
Well, you've got a quick movement, which I think is a third of your movement. So what's your normal movement?
My normal movement is like my walk is 6, my run's 23.
So a third of 23 is going to be like 7 meters, which would take you out of the window.
Okay.
Rabbit didn't go far, I don't think, with it.
No, I like he jumped out after me right as I was crawling through, and then I knocked him to the side, and then I got back up and he did too.
I'm gonna smack the dog with my shield.
Smash away.
Let's see.
Smash.
Come on, baby. Make this fun.
Yeah,
Smash.
that's a hit. So I need a special hit location and then damage.
All right. In this case, the special I'm going to do what do they call it? Where it prevents them from attacking. Press advantage.
Press advantage,
yeah.
Do some hit locations for me then.
Hit location is 19. So
Right
I assume that's the head.
Right on its head.
Yeah, perfect.
Headshot.
And then damage. Let's do this, guys.
Oh,
yeah, that is plenty enough to kill it as well. And just out of interest, when the second hound actually dies, then the darkness dissipates.
Perfect.
I'm just 1 second, because Misty's going to do her do something, and then that'll be our time up and done. So because it's gone past 10 o'clock. So Misty, you, from your vantage point, you can see into the room. I am assuming that's what you want to.
Oh, this room down here.
Yeah.
I was going to recite a poem before I went in there, though. No, I'll move down there.
So 2 things, well, 3 things. Number 1, this door has been ripped off from the outside. You also noticed that it looked like it was locked when it was pulled off. And inside this room, you can see 2 things. The first thing is that you can see the dead body, or the bleeding body, or let's just say lifeless still body of a man. The other thing that you can see is a glass case or cabinet. It looks like it's just like a cuboid on legs. So it's not on a wall. It's just out, and it's all smashed open. It looks like there might have been something resting on a pillar or plinth inside. And you soon put 2 and 2 together that Mr. McLeod's on the floor, and whoever is collecting these shards has found themselves another piece. And we will leave it there. Do you
Can I
know?
quickly just ask on a quick communicator, is the portal still up?
No.
Ah,
You know, I did the whole of that combat with the map not being on the screen for the for the stream. They haven't
Oh,
seen
no.
anything. And Darth says, "Good job, heroes. Good job."
Did it.
Yeah. So it looks like you were maybe a fraction too late. I wonder what have happened if Rabbit had gone straight in rather than
Dead.
Maybe you could have prevented something.
I was hoping that the smashed up table would have prevented something, but no.
Well, just out of interest, you won't be able to see it on the stream, but I actually moved my characters, my tokens, where they were going to move on their turn, and then you smashed the table. By that time, one was at the top, one was here,
oh,
and the other one was down here. So you whacked the table really good. The portal had closed and up against it. And that's why the one that was following you, Rabbit, because they could see in the dark, then bashed out straight to you. Sophia, Misty, you were very clever because going up meant that I couldn't attack you. So I had to chew on Banner instead. So,
sorry.
yeah, I'll
Okay,
get
I just
you.
got a little small puncher.
I'll get you, Penelope Bitstopper. It's the last thing I do. Brilliant. Thank you for today's session. Sadly, another shard piece has been lost.
They've got the whole collection, haven't they now?
Oh dear, what's going to happen next? Medivac, tell the stream when they can find you next.
Oh, right. Thank you. Yes. Next week, it's just Monday for our Trail of Cthulhu, where we are slowly slipping into gibbering madness.
Nice. I expect
yes.
nothing less of Call of Cthulhu.
It's the way forward. We have our mouths, our shoulders and things, so we're fine. But we're missing Dungeons and Dragons on Thursday because we finished that last Thursday.
I was going to say, yeah.
We're having a week off, and then the following week we'll be doing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
And you're a messenger.
I'm a messenger. I'm a postie.
Just going to run around giving people harsh letters to read.
Pretending to knock on the door and leaving a card.
Yeah. Brilliant. Mr. Pickles.
Yes, I am Mr. Pickles, but you might also know me by other names. I do a podcast called And I Took That Personally. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify Podcasts. That's where you can find it. We have quite a few episodes out now. It's just me and my friend Brad talking about movies and taking a little too personally, whether people like them or not, or how much we hated the movies.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
So go and have a listen. Captain Kangaroo, is there anything that you would like to say? I always feel that I leave you out at this point.
It's fine. It's I have a big stand-up special coming.
I know you're joking now.
It's at the Pyramid in Las Vegas. So it's not a bit-based stand-up, a lot of props and whatnot. But you can find it. Just look up on Google Carrot Top in Vegas, and you'll be able to find me.
Brilliant.
But
yeah. Good luck for that. I hope it goes very well for you.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think so far I've been doing it for about 20 years now. So
fantastic. You don't look
It's
old enough.
It short beats doing the reviews for the L'Oreal.
Yes, yeah. It's a little. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, people, we will be back next Saturday at 7:00. All goes well, to see whether or not the heroes can actually stop this maniac or this evil that is spreading across Metro City. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with some Minecraft and some Elder Scrolls Online tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Please remember that you've got a bank holiday in England on Monday, so everybody has Monday off. Do you have it off, Medivac?
That's a bit personal. Oh, Mrs.
Us non-plebs have it off.
Yes, I'm having it off on Monday.
Good. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Yeah, chat that said bank holiday hype. Yeah. And then our
Yay.
king gets coronated the week after, doesn't he?
Yes, and it gives us another bank holiday.
And we have another bank
Yay.
holiday. And then there's spring bank holiday a couple of weeks after that.
You guys just hate
Yay.
Mondays there, don't you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just perfect. I hate Monday so much that I refuse to work on a Monday. Monday's one of my days I'm not employed, because I hate that Friday evening feeling, you know, when it gets to about 4 o'clock on Sunday evening and you sort of like think, oh, it's work tomorrow. I don't have, Darth just said, God bless the king.
Yeah.
It sounds really strange, you know,
Yeah.
when you say it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed tonight as much as I have, and I'm sure the players have enjoyed it as well. Otherwise, I'll just kill them off next week and that'll be it. But thank you for coming along. If you'd like to see us again, then do drop back next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me. Goodbye. And it's goodbye from them.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Yeah.
bye, bye.